Sure thing, literally just one person. Disclaimer, this series revolves around criticising things, and the fact that I'm doing that doesn't necessarily mean I dislike the thing. Thank you. Click below to watch the original Sins video, or to buy Captain America.
Schmidt looks at the wall decoration and says, yep, there's probably a secret snake eye I can push somewhere that will give me the Tesseract.
I like how you just assume he's done no research before coming here. Not everyone takes the CinemaSins approach to things.
Yep, the entire movie is a Tesseract setup.
Well, it does a little more than just set up the Tesseract. It also sets up Captain America, you know, the leader of the Avengers. And also it's a fun, self-contained superhero movie in its own right.
And since the Tesseract is ultimately only a MacGuffin in the Avengers anyway, that makes this all the more stupid.
The Tesseract is just important of a MacGuffin in this movie as it is in the Avengers.
Irony.
I don't think you know what irony means. Also, I know how you like to send foreshadowing, even though you never seem to get what foreshadowing is actually, right? This one actually is foreshadowing. And even though I don't think you should send foreshadowing because it's a good literary device that can really add to a story if used well, the fact that you normally sin it when you think you see it in loads of places that it doesn't actually take place, and the one place it actually does take place you don't sin it, makes me think that you actually have no idea what it means.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Howard Stark!
Geez, this movie is basically setting up everything in the Marvel Universe except Captain America.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm fairly sure that this movie does actually set up Captain America. Also, this movie isn't really setting up Howard Stark, so to speak, because the existence of his character was already established in Iron Man.
With the arrival of Toby Jones, we now have way too many people in this movie who will be announcers in the Hunger Games.
Ah, good. This movie, that movie. I was wondering how long it was going to take for one of those to show up.
Is this a test?
Stupidest criteria ever. You want to pick the guy who would get himself killed at the first enemy grenade? Every single other candidate did what a good soldier and person with common sense does. They ran. Only Steve Rogers was stupid enough to jump on a grenade that at the time he jumped wasn't even going to hurt anyone because everyone else had run away.
First of all, that second part is just objectively not true, which is something that you can see from the clip you used to demonstrate this. Let's see, you said when he started the jump, so he starts the jump about here, where you can see that there are still plenty of people at least within potential shrapnel range, which by the way is about 15 meters. And then when it cuts to the next angle, you can see that Agent Carter is right next to the thing. But even if everyone did have time to get safe, this is a live grenade. This isn't something you get time to think about. Steve had a split second to make his decision, and he chose to lay down his life to save the lives of his fellow soldiers. He didn't have time to assess whether or not everyone would be safe. He just made sure that they would be. It seems to me that that kind of selflessness and willingness to put your life on the line should be exactly what they want for their super soldier.
He's still skinny.
Yeah, well, what does it matter if he's skinny? Especially if you're going to inject him with all those super steroids later anyway.
It doesn't, which is why they choose him.
The serum amplifies everything that is inside, so good becomes great, bad becomes worse.
Scientific serum makes judgment calls about what is good and bad and then amplifies them.
Or, and hear me out on this, the serum doesn't make judgment calls, and instead cuts out the middleman and just exaggerates things that are already in people without knowing anything about what it's doing. Because it's, you know, a serum and isn't sapient. Kind of like how if you're drinking alcohol, then if you kind of want to punch someone in the face already, it makes you really want to punch someone in the face. If you kind of want to call your ex and ask her to get back together, then it makes you really want to call your ex and ask her to get back together. If you kind of want to see if you can sledge down the stairs on a baking tray, then you're really likely to see if you can sledge down the stairs on a baking tray. Or do you think that the alcohol knows what you want to do and just amplifies that by being some kind of magical sentient drink?
Like most things in comic book universes that make a person bigger, the pants stay on.
I agree that that's a sin.
Son of a bitch did it.
Let's not start sucking each other's just yet. How do you know at this very moment it didn't give him brain damage or something?
They don't know that, but even if it did, this is still a huge accomplishment. Even if something ends up going tragically wrong, this is still clearly a huge step in the direction of progress.
Good thing there's only one yellow taxi in New York City at the time Steve is trying to catch up to a yellow taxi.
I'm sorry, I think you misspoke. It seems you accidentally said New York City when what you clearly meant to say was this one specific street that they're on. Oh, but wait, if you said that, then it would be really obvious the thing you're talking about isn't actually a sin because that's entirely plausible.
When he was driving the cab, he was basically trying to avoid Steve the whole time, going about it in a random manner, taking wild turns to avoid him and even trying to throw him off the car, but this is where he wanted to go all along?
It's almost as if he knew where he wanted to go and drove to that place. You know, almost.
And if so, why was the original car going in a completely different direction before Agent Carter shot the driver?
Cars have this crazy thing they can do where they change direction, and the Hydra agent did that with his car so much that it was difficult to tell which direction he ended up going in from this place.
So the plan was to go into the military compound, blow up the observation room, expect the explosion to be a diversion for everyone, steal one vial of serum that just happened to be there, kill the scientist, hope the formula hasn't been shared with anyone else, escape up some stairs, avoid or kill all military police, run out the front door, take a car which has 2 henchmen in it just in case you're followed, drive to the pier, where you expect that no one would follow you anymore and you'd just be able to board this submersible with absolutely no witnesses or other issues.
You know what? I'm with you on this one. Doesn't sound like a great plan. Except, what do you expect would change if someone witnessed him getting into the submarine? Like, what do you think would happen there? Do you think they'd swim after him? Why is that relevant? It doesn't matter if there are witnesses or not.
We lose more men than we'd save, but I don't expect you to understand that because you're a chorus girl.
Did Colonel Phillips not hear about the story where Steve tracked down that spy driving a car while on foot and jumped into the water to stop that guy in his high-tech submersible? What the f***?
This one dude was able to pursue and then apprehend a spy in a really difficult situation. Therefore, we should send a manned mission behind enemy lines to recover a load of soldiers. I can see the connection there.
Not one guard at the sensitive Tesseract weapons depot?
If you'd played this whole scene, you would have had to show this part where Steve knocks out a guard, this part where he sneaks past some more guards, and then you would have got to the part that you showed. So, you know, please don't lie to me? I feel like that's a fairly low bar. You should probably be able to reach that one. I'm sorry. What I meant to say was, please don't satire to me. Or is this base unguarded in the same way that Thor's hammer was unguarded in, well, Thor?
My evil boss is equally matched with the hero, and they've only thrown 1 punch each. Better separate them.
We're in a building that's exploding currently, and I can't leave without my boss, but he seems pretty busy with his fight, so I can wait. It's fine. There's no real hurry. You know, I'll just stand around here and wait for this to wrap up.
Not one POW died during that confusing battle in the dark with the Hydra soldiers, all armed with the power of Odin.
Jeremy can tell from this one shot of a few soldiers returning to their base that nobody died, because Jeremy has magical powers.
I merely developed the weapons. I cannot fire them.
Neither can the assholes who received these weapons.
I didn't edit that. I just thought you should know that as soon as Jeremy is done complaining that none of the Hydra soldiers know how to fire their weapons, he cuts to a clip of a Hydra soldier firing their weapon.
Since when do these weapons need time to build up energy? When we first saw them, they could fire at will. Now it has a delay?
There are many different types of Tesseract-powered weapons on display here. The bigger ones that have to be mounted on someone's back appear to be much more powerful, but do take time to charge.
Every Hydra agent that we've tried to take alive has crunched a little pill before we can stop it.
All one of them.
Yes, only one Hydra agent has taken cyanide on screen, therefore only one Hydra agent has done it ever. In fact, I guarantee that if he'd said instead, the only Hydra agent we ever captured took a cyanide pill and killed himself, you would 100% have said, wait, you guys only ever captured one Hydra agent? That seems like too few. I mean, isn't this an entire war? And you guys have only ever captured one agent? Well, someone went to the Prometheus boner, that's racist.
This fucker has a clear shot, but decides to suck at life instead. Sure, just run up real close to Captain America instead of standing at a safe distance and firing your disintegration gun. In what world does this make sense? Yet another asshole daydreaming about flowers or sunrises or some shit instead of firing his gun. They wanted to kill him before, but now they've come to their senses and just want to take him prisoner.
You made 3 separate sins about how none of them were firing their weapons at him, and then go on to claim that they were trying to kill him the whole time instead of just trying to capture him. I mean, it seems to me that maybe they'd want to capture Captain America, you know, the one guy who still holds the secret to the super soldier serum. But no, you're right, clearly they were trying to kill him but just forgot to fire their weapons, and then suddenly at the last minute decided to change their mind and try to capture him instead.
Because physics.
This movie featured this scene of Steve throwing a guy out of the water while he was also in the water. And he throws him like a good 6 feet, but sure, this is the time to complain about the physics in this movie. The part where Steve jumps a long way. In fact, this isn't even the part in the movie where he jumps the furthest.
Random bad guys continue to be random, with no variety to the randomness.
I really can't figure out the point you're trying to make here. Like, the bad guys are random? How? And then there's no variety? What?
Even with the advantage, Red Skull aims for the fucking shield.
No, he doesn't. He aims for Cap's head, and Cap moves up his shield to block the shot. So, the sin total was 28, and the punishment will be having to live with no CinemaSins videos last week. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, I've got a playlist on screen now of all of my MCU CinemaSins videos. So you can watch right from Iron Man to Thor Ragnarok, with very few gaps in there. I still need to do like Age of Ultron and Winter Soldier, but not many more after that. Anyway, I'll see you on Friday for the Friday video. Goodbye.